Well, a big old card tomorrow night at T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas, UFC 296, and a man who covers the sport for Yahoo joins us right now. It is Kevin Iole. You can follow him on Twitter at Kevin I, who I believe is in transit to T-Mobile. You know, Kevin, you don't have to get there a day in advance. You've got a credential. You could just go tomorrow.
Well, you're good. We're going to be there early, get a bite to eat, and we will be waiting for your grand arrival.
He's headed to the Vegas Golden Knights game. I will be there as well. All right, Kevin, let's get to the main event. Colby Covington against Leon Edwards. And latest look at the spread here has a pretty closely tight spread for this main event, which is always exciting. Has Leon Edwards at circa minus 160 and Covington at plus 140. Over-under on rounds is 4.5, juice minus 170 to the over. So, Kevin, main event tomorrow, how are you looking to attack this one?
Well, I like, let's start, the easy play on this one is the over. I don't see a lot of ways that Colby is going to get finished. I think this is a fight that is going to go a long way. Covington has been finished before, twice in his career among his 3 losses, but he's a pretty resilient guy, and I think he knows this is kind of his last chance at a championship. So I think he's going to fight a real tactical fight, use his wrestling quite a bit, and I don't think he's going to put himself in a position where Leon is a great striker, and Colby knows that. So as a result, I think he's going to do things to try to cancel out Leon's striking. If you get him to the ground, great. I think he's going to have trouble getting Leon down. Leon is got really good takedown defense, but I think that there'll be a lot of grappling, some scrambles involved in this fight. And so as a result of that, I think that's the easy one. I like the over there, so I'd play the over. And as far as the side goes, I changed a little, but I made my pick on Wednesday when I wrote. The press conference yesterday, I don't know if you saw what happened. Covington made a really crude remark about Leon Edwards' dead father. Edwards threw a bottle at him, and they had a little altercation. It wasn't anything, but obviously it was calculated on Covington's part. He was trying to get Edwards to attack and come after him, get him angry. And that's what Conor McGregor did when he fought Jose Aldo and that infamous 13-second knockout fight. So I think that's Covington's reason why he did what he did. It's despicable to do something like that. But that's why he did what he did. But I see this fight still, that makes me worry and maybe think Leon has a little more motivation. But I'm going to stick with my original pick, which was Covington by decision. So I believe I got it at 2.25 at DraftKings is what I remember. So, but that's kind of the number that I think is when they're Covington by decision. Yep. I think it's going to be a long fight. I just think the wrestling might be the difference.
Yeah, sitting at plus 210. So if anybody out there wants to tell that's currently the price that's out there consensus-wise. All right, I'm going to be selfish. Kevin, I'm going to go to a fight that I'm really intrigued by here. And it's hard not to be, I think. Lightweight fight between Tony Ferguson and Paddy Pimblett. What do you expect? As we know, Pimblett undefeated in the UFC. Ferguson on this 6-fight losing streak. But at one point, one of the more, I would say, tantalizing, exciting, and dangerous fighters in the UFC. What do you make of this matchup with Pimblett laying about $3? And we should know for audience, too, this was as high as minus 400 here at Circa before some action came in on Ferguson.
Yeah, I really think that I really do. Ferguson's lost 6 in a row. Pimbett's on a long winning streak. But look, and I put this in my story. Look at the difference in the opposition that they had. I mean, Ferguson is fighting some of the greatest fighters in the world. The easiest fighter, the most beatable guy out of the 6 in a row that he lost to was Bobby Green, who I think would be a significant favorite over Paddy Pimblett if they fought. And there was nobody of, Jared Gordon would have been the best that Pimblett fought in that time frame. So I think when you look at it, number one, you have to say, hey, Ferguson has been fighting, the top 10 guys, the top 5 guys mostly in the world, and I think that gives him a huge advantage going into the fight. And so I like Ferguson to win it, so I took the plus money. When I played it, I think it was plus 245, if I remember correctly, but I do think Ferguson wins. The only question you have to have about Ferguson if you're going to play him, this crazy training he did with David Goggins, the former Navy SEAL. It's kind of unprecedented in MMA. You wonder, did he burn himself out in training camp? Is he going to be able to be the Tony Ferguson we've come to know over the years? And if that's a yes, then I'm really solid on it. That would be my only concern about playing Ferguson.
All right, let's go to the co-main then and work our way down. We have seen a steady trickle of support for Pantoja. This thing opened up $1.65 here at circa up to about -180. Is the market right in supporting the favorite here?
To me, it's a coin toss. Pantoja beat him in 2021 rear naked choke. That kind of sparked Royval's turnaround. Royval has won several in a row since then. And when I talked to Royval, he made a good point. He says, look at the film of Pantoja. He's doing the exact same things that he did back in 2021. He goes, look at my game, and I have evolved. And the biggest thing that Royval is not doing anymore is he's not trying to get into these wild, crazy slugfest. He's being more calculated in his approach, and that's always a smart move to make. But to me, it's a coin flip, and so I'm going to pass that fight. If you twisted my arm and said you had to make a play, I'd probably say Pantoja, but I would pass that one just because I think there's too many uncertainties in that.
All right, I'm really curious, how long, we always use the term ring rust. How long does the layoff have to be? We haven't seen Stephen Thompson fight for a year. Is that long enough to consider rust coming into a fight like this?
I really don't think so. Okay. I mean, we've seen guys, look at John Jones. I mean, there have been a number of them now. Colby Covington's going into this fight off 18 months. So, Dana always says I'm a big believer in ring rust, but I think when you really look at it, the numbers don't back that up, right? Mm-hmm. I think it depends on the athlete and who's going. And Stephen Thompson, who's in wonderful condition, he always has been. So I don't think, but I think the problem that if Thompson have is not ring rust, it's going to be Shavkat Rakhmonov.
Yeah.
Rakhmonov is 17-0 with 17 finishes. I think he might be the best welterweight in the world right now, and I think it's be a big stage for him to show that with the title fight on. So I like Rakhmonov in this. You got to swallow hard to lay that kind of money, but I think Rakhmonov will get it done.
Hey, Kevin, before we let you run, KevinIole.com. That's KevinIole.com. Of the fights that we haven't hit, maybe a little bit further down the card that you do think there's a little bit of value heading into UFC 296.
Well, there's two other plays I have. I like Cody Garbrandt against Brian Kelleher. Both are coming back after some long layoffs. But, Cody Garbrandt, the former champion, he has been healthy in training camp for the first time in a long time. I mean, this guy has had a list of injuries like you wouldn't believe, and a lot of times he fought. This time, he's got himself healthy. He went through a full training camp, no injuries. Brian Kelleher is coming back off a neck surgery. So I like Garbrandt there. I'll lay the money and I'll play him. And in one of the women's fights on the prelim card, it's on the ESPN portion of the card, I really think the over in the Carol Hosta fight with Irene Aldana. Just, neither one of them has that big knockout power, and I see that one going minutes. I think the over is 2.5 right there. So I like the over in that one.
He's Kevin Iole. Follow him on Twitter at Kevin I, and read his work over at Kevin Iole. That's KevinIole.com. Kevin, great stuff, man, and we'll say hello tonight, later this evening.
Look forward to seeing you guys. Be well.
There he is, Kevin Iole. Breaking it down, UFC 296. He thinks he changed his mind. He really likes the over in the main event, which is minus $1.70 to the over 4.5 rounds. He thinks this will go to the distance. And then he likes Colby Covington by decision. Thinks he might have gotten Leon Edwards' head a little bit yesterday at that press conference.
I'm really glad he brought up Cody Garbrandt, too. Like, for me, when I was really watching a lot of mixed martial arts, Garbrandt was among some of my favorites. And I think it's pretty easy to say because I think he was among a lot of people's favorites when he was really coming up. But it's a good point to look at a guy like that who's got really strong hands, who can finish a lot of guys if he is fully healthy, and he has not been. I cannot wait to see what he's going to be like, but top of the list. I am going to buy this card and watch this. I won't stream it illegally, Dan. I'm going to do it for you. I'm going to buy it. I cannot wait
to watch. It's a write-off, Jerry.
That's right. That's a good point. I can't wait to watch Tony Ferguson and Pimblett. Ferguson, again, same thing with Garbrandt, one of my favorite guys to watch. And we never got the bout that we all wanted because it got derailed like a million times with Khabib, but I cannot wait to watch him in action here in this game.